destroy all humans.
Welcome to Haddonfield, Illinois. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm super excited to be here. I've been trying to make this work for a while now. This is something that I've been really passionate about and wanting to do for a while. Lucas is here joining me. Thank you, Lucas, for doing this. Zach is back home on the board. I'm sure he's very excited. He has to deal with me for 2 hours. But we are in South Pasadena, California, and we are going to be doing a little tour with you. And I'm going to take you around and show you some cool locations from John Carpenter's Halloween. And there might be some opportunities for some bonus material. But if you want to interact with what we're doing here, all your interactions help support Hyper RPG, support more opportunities for us to do stuff like this. We have so many ideas that we want to do for live streams. So if you want to, there are 2 ways you can support. If you tip $25, I will give you a random trivia from the Halloween franchise. It could be based on a location that we're at, or it could be something random about the movie. For $50, and I know this is Zach's favorite because he came up with it, Stump the Dummy. That's me, I'm the dummy. For $50, you guys can try to stump me with a trivia question or anything that you want me to try to answer about the franchise, whether it's or just anything. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to give you any ideas. Just anything that you want about Halloween, whether it's the location or about the movie franchise. And if we hit our goal at 500, we will do a YouTube cut down. And if we have time, I might take you guys on one extra location at the very, very end. But if we have time, we're kind of on a set schedule, trying to be close to it, but we also want to allow there to be some room for improv. And if we see something cool, we would definitely want to stop and check it out. So the reason why we're starting here, this is probably one of the most famous locations in the Halloween franchise. We're in South Pasadena on Oxley and Fairview. This house right here was the home of Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode. This movie was her first and pretty exciting movie for her. It's a really cool location. I didn't really know what to expect from this location when I came here for the first time. I was just like, oh, it's a house, cool. There's like a part of the movie that I think is really, really cool that I want to show you guys. What ended up happening that I thought was pretty rad was the people who own this house left a pretty cool prop for you to be able to take photos with. The first time we meet this character, she's coming out of the house and her dad has tasked her to leave the keys for the famous Myers house out in front of the house. So we see her walk out. She comes out through the side of the house here. She makes her way down the sidewalk. And the second time we see her, the same similar sort of thing, where we see her walking from out the side of the house to the corner. But this time, and this is where this location is really cool in my opinion, the people who own it left us a little something. So when you come here, this pumpkin is here for people who want to take pictures. And the reason is, as we all know from the movie, there's a very famous scene where Laurie walks over, she's got the pumpkin, she's waiting for Annie to come pick her up, and she sits here and she just waits and she just chills out. And there's something about that shot that I think is like really, really cool. And it's just a very long street. It's her just hanging out and just having fun and just waiting for her friend. And there's already been some things that have been happening, some encounters with Michael Myers that have made her weary about everything that's going on. But I think it's really cool that the owners of this house have kind of embraced the fans and they are happy and willing to put something like this out there. So you can come here and you can come check out this house and take a photo. But I will remind you, it is a private property. There are people who live here. Don't trespass. Just kind of stay within your boundaries, stay on the sidewalk. They've been super, super kind about letting people do this, but we definitely should not take advantage of that. And this is plastic, so don't think that you're gonna throw it and break it. But this is really, really nice. A really nice gesture that they did this. So really cool. I've been here twice now, and every time I come here, I retake the same photo over and over and over, mostly because I'm a big fan of this movie. Surprise, that's kind of why I'm doing this, because this is an idea I've had for a while, and I held out on pitching it because I didn't know how I would make it work. But Zach and Liko were cool enough to just say, you know what, if you want to do it, do it. Let's figure out how we want to do it. So I'm hoping that for the next 2 hours, we'll have a fun time walking from location to location. We have a couple of extra things that we want to show you guys, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to hit up this art gallery that I think you guys will like as well. And if you come to Pasadena, it's almost open pretty much year round. So I think it'll be a cool opportunity for you guys to check some stuff out. But before we go to our second location, let's go across the street because I want to show you guys something that I think is pretty cool. So the city of Pasadena is very aware of the Halloween franchise and sort of the impact it's left on this community and what it means to this community. And the producer of the whole franchise, he passed away in 2005. So what they did for him as a tribute, this bench that's right here, this is dedicated to Mustafa Akkad, who is the producer, and he's basically the godfather of the Halloween franchise. And I actually didn't know about this until kind of a long while after, but I think it's really, really cool that this was done. And it's a nice little tribute. His son, Malik Akkad, is still an active producer on the Halloween franchise, which I think is awesome. He's now working with Blumhouse. They're obviously making more movies, which I think is really, really cool. Ooh, I see we have a stump from Negiyama. Thank you so much for the $50 tip. What was the budget for the first Halloween film? It's a good question, good question. What I'm going to show you for the next 2 hours, it'll really give you a sense and an idea of how economical they were when they made this movie. And I'll drop some things here and there, but if you really want to know a lot of good trivia, throw it in the chat room and I'll give you some nuggets. But the budget for the first Halloween movie was $300,000 to $325,000. John Carpenter was really young when he made it. He was 30. He was a little bit younger than I was, and it was really a grassroots project, really small crew. 300,000, 300 to 325. Incredible use of the location and all the opportunities. Second location is actually right across the street. Part of this is a senior citizen center. The other part of it is the public library. This kind of doubled for 2 locations in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Half of it was young Michael Myers' elementary school, at least the exit point of the elementary school. And on the opposite side, it was actually the exit point for Lori, Linda, and Annie. So it was Haddonfield High on one side and Haddonfield Elementary on the other. There's also a shot from that film where where Michael Myers is actually standing on this grass lawn right here. He's facing that way towards the building, but the shot, because it's in the reverse direction, you can actually see this house in the background, Laurie Strode's house from the '78 movie. So pretty cool that, despite the fact that I personally am not a fan of that movie, I think it's really cool that it has those touches and those homages to the '78 film. And there are actually a lot more locations that they use in South Pasadena than that I even knew about. I thought it was filmed somewhere in like Georgia or on sound stages. Come to my surprise, that is in fact not the case. Megaloblazeman, yep, 325,000. Nailed that one. Let's see here. So that kind of does it for mostly this location. We see the house twice in the original movie. And from there on, we spend a lot of time in other parts of South Pasadena and Los Angeles itself. So now, as long as you don't get hit by a car, we're gonna cross the street. Yeah, we're gonna jaywalk because, you know, what's better than 2 dummies with a camera and a microphone and jaywalking? Yeah, you know, that's how we do things around here. I've always also been very interested in this house because I don't understand how it works. Because it has one address on this side of the street and another address on this side. So I'm assuming it's some kind of duplex, but I don't really know. Lucas, you would know. I feel like Hi. Okay, we're back. Apparently technical difficulties. So we'll avoid going down the street with the scary trees, and we'll cut across and then we'll make our way down. We are going to go down to our second location, which is South Pasadena High School, which not utilized as much as you would think for this movie, mostly utilized for his exterior shots. So it's a little bit of a walk. So now is a perfect opportunity. If you have any, if you want a tip for trivia that you want me to drop on you, or if you want to try to stump me, now is the perfect time to do it because we got a little bit of walk. So let's cross this way, and then we will cross that way. Yeah, I'm gonna let this car go. So there's also a few other locations that are pretty close to here. One of them is literally up this street. It might be that building that's across the street over there. That is the elementary school that they use in Rob Zombie's Halloween, but it's the interiors, not the exterior, the interiors. So you can kind of notice, honestly, if you came here and you were like, I don't know if this is or isn't the Myers house, I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of these houses look the same, but they're really cool looking. I like them a lot. Lucas, how do you feel about me dragging you along this adventure?
Oh, I love it.
He says he loves it.
Bring me up.
So, because the budget was so low on this movie, I don't know how the hell they got away with a lot of the stuff that they got away with when it came to, you know.
Can we check out these dolls real quick?
Oh yeah, can we, dude, terrifying, horrifying. Like, we walked by them and I legitimately thought it was 3 people sitting there staring at us, and I've never felt so uncomfortable in my life. It was the worst. It was like having Michael Myers follow you around and just like not being sure what the hell's happening. But I think one thing that has always intrigued me about this movie is how did they utilize these roads and these streets for a lot of the driving stuff that they did? How did they make that work on a $325,000 budget? It's like, you can't get away with anything in LA anymore, I feel like. We know that all too well, don't we?
Oh, yeah. You get stopped and talked to about this thing.
I know, right? I know that's one thing that we're like, I think we'll be okay if we just like walk around and stream and talk about stuff that we're doing. At the same time, you don't want people to look at you weird, but it's the life we live. Okay. So thanks, chat, for the $50. Hashtag stump. The question is, this competing product to the Steadicam was used instead to film smooth, unbroken shots for Halloween.
I know that.
I know that too.
I think I know that.
I'm debating if I want to answer it now or when we get to the Myers house. You know what? I'll answer it now because it's going to be a while before we get there. So, Halloween was the 4th film to use this device. The first, I believe, was who's the director of A New World? Terrence Malick. Terrence Malick did a movie in the 70s that used this. It was the first one, and Halloween was the 4th. It was the glide cam.
Yeah.
And if you look on Vimeo, actually, there's footage of DP Dean Cundy testing the glide cam with his camera operator, specifically to use in Halloween, which I think is really cool. Another stump from Arslan. Thank you so much. The question is, what was the title of the original story that was written by John Carpenter that was changed to Halloween for the movie title? I like these. These are good. These are real good. So, when the pitch or the concept of the movie was originally made, it was called The Babysitter Murders.
Yeah.
And there's a whole reason why it ended up being changed to Halloween. You could find out. You could find out.
How do we find out?
Follow everyone else's lead in the chat room of trying to stump me, and you can ask, and I will tell you. But it was kind of amazing if and when I get to tell you the reason why. It's kind of incredible to find out why and how that happened, and it's nothing that I honestly really like thought of. And now it seems like, man, that that idea or concept would have been taken advantage of immediately if this movie hadn't done it, which I think is really cool. Adam is stalling so he can have Lucas look up answers. That's a lie. I take offense to that. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. I mean, look how nice this street is. Guys, we're in South Pasadena. South Pasadena is standing in for another city in another state. What state? What city? But palm trees.
They can't hear me, but this area is often used for the East Coast.
Yeah, so what Lucas was saying, that a lot of this area is being used for the East Coast, which is very true because of the housing and the way it looks. Lots of really cool houses. Some of them are very, very old. Very old. You will find out in a somewhat later portion of the video exactly how old some of these houses are. It's kind of wild. Oh, people asking Emily in the chat room. Wait, Megal Blazemon says, fun fact, Avengers Endgame production budget equals $25.48. You can stretch a penny far. Man, only in my dreams do I wish that movies like that were that cheap. How cool would that be? But yeah, I think Lucas and I have pretty much decided that we're gonna live here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at it. Look how nice this is.
Oh, I bought that house for you and me.
That's right. We're roommates now.
We're gonna get that.
That's right. Oh, look, our cars are already here for us. That's right. That's hilarious. Yeah, so this is actually my first time doing a walking tour of these locations. I've gone from like one to the other on different days, same days, some of them. For the most part though, I've always done one at a time. So I'm equally excited about this because I had an opportunity to really do a deep dive.
Let's get a close up of these limes.
Oh, let's get them limes. Let's get those limes. Those are nice limes.
Those are nice limes.
They're nice limes. It's the truth. But this is a really nice opportunity that I got to really spend the time to look through and see, okay, what locations are close? What locations are farther away? How do I want to feature them? How do I want to talk about them? So pretty cool. Scrounge up $100 and buy one of those houses. I think they're $1.01. I could be wrong though. You're not wrong. They're pretty close to that much. That ghost on his t-shirt keeps looking at me like a handkerchief or something. Fun fact, I'll give you this one for free because Emily's in the chat room. She didn't realize that the shirt goes down to a point like a knife.
Oh, it does.
And oh my God. That's it. It's over. It's over. We're going home. This is Adam's second job as a tour guide. You're not wrong, Red Ranger. You're not wrong. Honestly, Lucas and I have been talking a lot about doing more IRL streams like this. I think they would be a lot of fun. And on top of that, there is one location I would love to go to. It's in New Jersey. It's the locations from Friday the 13th. And even though the campground isn't open anymore, as far as I know, they have select weekends that you can rent out. And they only do it once or twice a year sometimes. But you can basically rent out this space or rent like a tent or something. And they'll give you a tour of all the locations where Jason Voorhees chopped up a bunch of people. So that's fun. I guess that's fun. I don't know. But yeah, but Pasadena is just like a really beautiful place in general. It's for the most part, it's really quiet when I come here on like the weekends and stuff. It's really easy to walk around. There's not a lot of traffic. Because it's 5:20 on a Friday night, this is pretty normal, but it makes sense to me why you would want to shoot a movie in this neighborhood because it is so quiet. And it's kind of ideal, I would say, for people who are trying to find a space where they want to film on a live location but not have, so much damn sound and cars and all that kind of stuff. So, but if you guys want to try to stump me, we're almost to our second location. Now's the perfect time to try to stump me. I know there are people in the chat room who are big Halloween fans. I've seen it. I know it. If I'm walking too fast, Lucas, you can tell me to slow down. Cool. I know I have like gargantuan legs. One thing I failed to do.
Baby legs don't quit.
You can probably run faster backwards than I can run forward. Anyway. Adam and Lucas, what RPG are you going to be on tomorrow for the hyperdrive? We're going to be running the hyperdrive.
I'm on Mika's slasher RPG.
Oh, okay. Well, Lucas is on Mika's slasher RPG, which I guess it's a perfect time and opportunity to tell people that we are doing a hyperdrive tomorrow. It is spoopy Halloween themed. We've got 4. We've got Hocus Pocus, Ghostbusters, a slasher one, which will probably feature characters like Michael Myers, Jason, and Hellraiser, which Zach is doing. So that'll be a whole lot of fun.
Let you go in front of me.
Ooh, okay. Also, we are co-streaming this to YouTube. I completely forgot. So everybody in YouTube chat, thank you for watching and welcome. You know, when you're doing live content like this, you always got to watch out for cars. You know what I'm saying? If you are watching on the YouTube chat room, you can use Super Chat to ask questions. You can either tip 25 for me to give a random trivia fact about Halloween, or 50 and you can try to stump me. So if you want to use Super Chat, you're more than welcome to. We really appreciate you guys watching. If we hit our goal of 500, I will do a cut down for YouTube where all of you can yell at me about how wrong my facts are. But hopefully they're not, because hopefully I did a good job. The Winter Deb says, I'd love to see Adam on one of the RPGs. Well, someone's got to operate the shows, and other people have work to do, so we'll see. So we're actually getting pretty close to our second location, which I'll be honest, I thought it was going to take us a little longer to get here, but we're making good time, folks. We're making good time. Let's see. Kevin Conroy was born in my town. Kevin Conroy shares a birthday with Hector. I'm jealous. You know who I share a birthday with? Never mind, I won't tell you.
I know.
Oh, do you?
Is it a villain?
Yeah.
Cool.
Second question, is it one that runs our country? Absolutely. Hey, hey. That's a cool thing to do, right?
Yep.
It's a cool thing to do, is to just like ruin the take. But it's a good thing we're live, because whatever, you can't really ruin it. Okay, so we are coming up on South Pasadena High School. I really hope everyone left for the day, because that'd be really awkward if we're like, hey, we're here to film some stuff. South Pasadena High School, which is a location that was used for Haddonfield High, at least part of it, not the full thing. I will take you to exactly the spot that was used, and you're gonna be like, that's it? That's it. It has also very much changed over the years. The school itself has obviously been around for a while. Pasadena is actually a very old city, and South Pasadena is one of like the oldest cities that I'm aware of in, I don't want to say Southern California, that might be a stretch, but definitely in this part of Los Angeles. Some of the houses that we're gonna go see were built in like the late 1800s, but this location, which has actually changed a little bit, in 1978 when they shot the movie, there were no stairs here, and the characters came out from the hallway, and as they came out, they walked by and then exited the school. And I think it was in the last 15 to 20 years that they did an actual revamp, and they added all these stairs, and I'm not sure why they did. It might have been just a cosmetic thing, but when you watch the movie, you're probably seeing a clip of it right now anyway. They come from this hallway down here, and we find out it's just Linda and Lori. Annie's not with them yet. She ends up catching up to the characters. But this is the location they walk out of, and this is literally the only time this location was used for the high school. Everything else was used in a different part, and we're gonna take you there right now.
The game is in the afternoon. I have to get my hair done at 5, and the dance is at 8. I'll be totally wiped out.
Oh, hi there. Yes, yes. The school tour continues. So now we're on the corner of McLean and 2nd Street. This location actually serves 2 purposes, but the first that we're going to talk about is one of the scenes that we have with Tommy Doyle, one of the youngsters from Halloween. It also works out perfectly because if you look at the sign, Halloween Festival, Friday, October 25th, 5:30 to 7:30, which is literally happening right now. It's a little quieter than usual, though. That's kind of weird. So this location, school, obviously is locked down because classes ended, so we can't go on the property. But this scene was famously known for in Halloween when Tommy Doyle's trying to leave the school and he's got his pumpkin, and Lonnie and the other two kids are bullying him. They come up to him, they ask him about the boogeyman, that the boogeyman's gonna get him, and all these crazy spooky things. And he's trying to get them away from him. He tells them to leave him alone, and they won't. They're being the worst. And as we know later on in the movie, that kind of gets paid off by Dr. Loomis really well. And on top of that, Lonnie will be back for Halloween Kills. So that should be fun to see how that whole thing is explored. So that scene is happening right here and pretty much right at this gate. And then what happens, obviously, as we know, Tommy gets thrown down. He smashes the pumpkin. He's really upset about it. And as the kid runs out, he literally runs down these stairs right here. And Michael is waiting for him and just grabs him and holds him. And the beautiful camera work that I love in this movie is at no point at all during this do we see Michael's face. It's all from the shoulder down. He's just kind of standing in there and waiting and not doing anything. And then he just starts to kind of like track along the wall. And it's following him as he crosses the school. And then we sort of transition into Michael getting into the car. He follows Tommy down the street to the next part, which doubles as two locations. Okay, so this is a fun location. This location actually doubles for two things in two movies, as a matter of fact. So, as we see in the movie, Tommy, he gets the pumpkin, he falls on top of the pumpkin, it smashes, he walks out of the school. Michael gets into his car and he's actually following him while Tommy is walking down the street. Now, imagine being a regular kid and this guy is following you in this car and you don't even know it. Michael ends up driving off, Tommy continues walking forward. That's how that scene wraps up. But this school, which is Garfield Elementary in Alhambra, also doubles as the interior for Laurie's school. So this divide that you see in the middle, if you look on the bottom row, 2 windows over, that is the interior of Laurie's classroom. So as we famously know from the scene towards the more beginning part of the movie, she's in class, she's in the middle of a lesson, and then Michael Myers, she looks out the window and she sees Michael literally across the street, and he's awkwardly standing behind his car and he's just staring at her through this window, and she looks at him, looks away, looks at him, looks away. Then I think it's the third time she looks, he's gone, creating a very awkward situation and a lot of tension. This location was actually also then reused for Halloween 2, because in the second film, Deputy Hunt and Dr. Loomis find out that there was a break-in at the school, so they come to the school. The interior of the classroom was used when they find Sam Hain written in blood on the board. So we actually can't go inside of the school, obviously, because it's a school and we don't have permission to be inside, but we're cool to walk in the perimeter. So just know that if you ever come here, don't start creeping around and going into the school. That's a big no-no. So it's a really cool location, and if you drove by, you probably would never know. But I love the fact that it's been reused for both of those movies, and on top of that, the fact that it was the elementary school and a high school at the same time, as opposed to what we saw earlier, which was like a very small piece of South Pasadena High School, which was used as Haddonfield High, is pretty cool. So I think that's pretty good for this location. Let's go to the next one. Whoa, I don't know what that was. So this street, you might recognize, this is famously known as the establishing shot of Haddonfield, Illinois. The famous title card that says Haddonfield Halloween. This is the scene after Michael Myers escapes from Smith's Grove Sanitarium. There are no cars. I don't want to get Lucas killed because I just don't want that on my plate. I don't want to be a murderer as well. So this is a fun little shot. I've been here many times, but I've never actually like looked at this location. Fun fact too, if you're a fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I'm not, don't tell him, this street was used in the 2007 remake when Laurie, Linda, and Annie are walking from school and they encounter Michael Myers. So pretty fun. I actually didn't realize how much of that movie was shot in South Pasadena, and I was really surprised to find out just how many locations and places were used. So Fun little fact, this was also used. But we're gonna make our way down to a very fun location that I think you might enjoy. So this street is obviously famous for, once we turn the corner, we transition to Carpenter's 78 movie where Annie, Linda, and Lori are walking home from school. Mind you, there's already been some stuff happening throughout the school day. Lori has seen Michael on multiple occasions, so she's already been kind of spooked. We just had the scene where Annie tells Michael, hey, jerk, speed kills, and he pauses and he hits the brakes and stops. So it was fun. I'd been to this location once before, and I took a couple pictures by the hedge. But the thing that I found that was the most interesting was just how, like, quiet this neighborhood is. We're literally the loudest thing in this neighborhood right now. It feels kind of awkward, but it's a really nice neighborhood. The houses are super nice. I'm sure the people with the hedge hate Halloween fans because we basically have kicked up all the dirt in front of the hedge, but that is what it is. This house that we're coming up to on my left, your right, this is Linda's house, 1027 Montrose Avenue. This house was built in the early 30s. I believe it's a 4-bedroom, 1-bath house. So it's a little smaller, but it's a very old house. I know I shouldn't have to reiterate this, but if you do come here, you do come check out these locations, don't go on the property, don't go knocking on people's doors. If it was me, I'd be really mad. So it's a fun little place. You know, it's really one scene, but the famous hedge scene, I think, was probably the creepy, what the hell is that? Okay, I'm not the only one who saw that, right? I know what this hedge is like, and I'm pretty sure, no? All right, well, if you didn't catch on already, this is the hedge, the famous hedge where Michael Myers is standing behind, and he spookies Lori into basically scaring the crap out of her. Well, it looks like the grass kind of grew back in here, but when I was here last year, this was all worn out, and it's probably because you have idiots like me who are doing this constantly, back and forth. So I'm sure they're not too happy about that. Also, this house, 1019 Montrose, this is where Annie Brackett lived. And if you know how that scene goes, Lori kind of continues walking on, and she looks behind her to see what's happening, and then she bumps into Brackett, and she turns around, she bumps into him and freaks out. And, you know, he tells her that everyone, I guess, is entitled to one good scare, which kind of comes back to haunt her a little bit. But so that's this famous location. So you have 2 houses on the same street, an establishing shot, some stuff from Rob Zombie's Halloween, all on this one quiet street. So if you come here, check it out. Don't make too much noise. Don't piss off anybody. Otherwise, we'll never be allowed here ever again. So to the next location. Okay, so we moved locations a little bit. Instead of being in South Pasadena, we are now in Hollywood. Because for those of you who don't know, the ending of the movie where Annie and Lori end up at the Wallace and Doyle house, that's all shot here in the very loud Hollywood, California. Not too far from where we actually live, surprisingly. Lucas and I were talking about this, of like, being the sound guy on this movie must have been terrible because it probably was so loud here because there's constant traffic and stuff happening. Right now, as we're walking through, there's like a crew here. They're like cleaning stuff up and all that sort of stuff. But the first house that I'm gonna show you is this house on the left, which might be hard to see because there's some construction happening over there. But in the back of that house is the laundry room that Annie was in, that she was stuck in, basically. And a lot of these houses were kind of repurposed for different things, which I think is actually really, really cool. And I think that's a very common Hollywood thing where the exterior of the house isn't necessarily the same interior of the house. The house next door on the other side of the street is from Halloween 1 and from Halloween 2. We've got the neighbor who runs out and says, "What's going on here? I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight." And Loomis says, "You don't know what death is," and then he runs off. So that's from Halloween 2, featured in both movies, obviously. And then this house, right here on the left, you might recognize. This is Lindsay Wallace's house. It obviously looks very different than it did in 1978. There's been some things changed. They've added a garage, but this is the house that Jamie Lee Curtis basically runs out of when she's being chased by Michael. She goes to the neighbor's house and is pounding on the door, "Help me, help me, help me." we all know how that goes. The neighbors definitely do not help. And I'm not sure exactly when this house was remodeled, but I think it was at least been in the last 15 to 20 years that it's been changed. But as we said, the other locations, if you do come here, don't go on anybody's property. Come check it out, look at it, but don't interfere with people's personal living space. But I hope you guys have been enjoying everything else that we've been showing off. Lucas and I have had a lot of fun running around LA, checking out all these locations, and it's been a good old time. So famously, as we know, when Lori basically runs out of the house, she goes to the Doyle house, which we are coming up to right now. And there it is, the famous Doyle house. So as you can see, they've roped it off because I think they've had a whole boatload of tourists here. There's a car coming. We're gonna scoot over just a little bit. There's been a whole boatload of tourists who come here probably every year trying to get a look at this house. I don't know if anyone actually actively lives here. I've never seen anyone come out of this house or anything. But it's also had some changes in recent years. They've added all these like plants. They now have a gate, which I understand why, because if you're trying to live in peace and comfort, you don't want a bunch of people running over and trying to go knock on your door and stuff. So on the top level, we have that balcony, which in the movie, as we all know, was an actual full-sized balcony that a person could walk through. And it looks like that's been changed. And a lot of these locations also have sort of differed. Some of the houses that we showed you earlier, the interiors were used, and the scene where Michael falls off the balcony is actually not this house. It's one of the other houses. And the interior of the Doyle house was also the previous house that we showed you, but this is mostly just exterior stuff. So here's a fun little fact for you. If you actually watch the movie and Lori runs across the street, she goes to the right side of the door to try to open it, but when Tommy opens it from the other side, he's opening it on the left, on her left side. So a little bit of a difference there, but these are the cool locations. This is Hollywood. Most of the other parts of the movie were all shot in South Pasadena. And, you know, we have a few other things in Sierra Madre as well. But that's basically it. So we're going to cut back to South Pasadena for one more thing.
What's this address that we just went to?
What was that, Lucas?
What's this address?
707 Meridian. We are. We made it just in time. So we're gonna go up the street a little bit because I wanna show you guys a location that was used for a couple things. Oh yeah, that's right. I have a trivia and I have a stump. Read me my stump, Zach. So Zach's in my ear, so he's gonna read me my stump and I'll see if you guys can stump me. So the question was, where did Michael Myers escape from and what is the name of the real location? Good question. Excellent question. So the place he escapes from is called Smith's Grove Sanitarium. It's in Warren County, which is a part of Haddonfield. Damn, the real life location. Well, I believe the real life location was, I believe it was a hospital, but I don't remember the name. Damn it! Shit!
Oh, they got you.
What's the real location, Zach? Did they tell you? They probably didn't tell you in the chat room what it was, did they?
Stumped.
So everyone's stumped now. And then I have a trivia. I have another stump. Read it to me. Oh, that's easy. So the question was, who is Michael Myers' mask based on? It is based on Juan William Shatner. Because you stumped, or you asked for a stump, I will tell you a little bit about the origin of that. So they needed a mask, and this will be part of the trivia. They needed a mask really bad. And they got Tommy Lee Wallace, who's the production designer, to try to figure out, like, what do we want to do? What's the mask that we want to try to get? So he went there, and they had no budget. So it was like, okay, we have two options. We have a clown mask, or we have the Shatner mask. And people ask, like, why the Shatner mask? That's such a weird, like, why would you have a William Shatner Star Trek mask as like a Halloween mask? And he said the reason was because the mask has sort of this like blank look to it. He liked it. He was intrigued by it. So what they ended up doing is they ripped off the eyebrows, they ripped off the sideburns, they kind of like messed the hair up a little bit so it looked kind of like nutty. Bless you, Lucas. And they spray painted it white. And they ended up cutting up the eye holes a little more circular and open. So that's how that mask was basically created. So it's a William Shatner Star Trek mask that was around in 77 that they paid like $5 for. And that became Michael Myers' mask. So pretty damn cool, I think. Any more stumps or trivias, Zach? I got a trivia. Okay. So let's see, what's a fun trivia? Either about the location. Well, okay, here's one. Come with me. I'll show you something pretty fun. And we can also revisit it on the other side of the block as well. So Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 were not shot simultaneously. They were not shot back to back. One was shot, then because of the success of one, they decided, okay, cool, let's do 2. And they actually ended up revisiting a lot of locations from here, from South Pasadena, which not necessarily that should be surprising. I didn't think it would, that doesn't always happen, but this alleyway is featured in Halloween 2. When the movie opens after the credits, we basically see Michael Myers walk from out of one of the houses. He comes down the alleyway, he looks at the far end, he sees some kids who are trick-or-treating, running around and playing around, and then he looks in this direction, and this is the part, one of my favorite parts, is where he sees Loomis and Brackett in the middle of the street. And he sees Loomis and he's like, I shot him 6 times! I shot him in the heart! And he's just like freaking out, and I scared all the dogs. So he sees Brackett, he's like, what? He's not human! And then they get in the car and they drive off. And then Michael continues going through the backs of these houses, and he gets to a location, which we will talk about very shortly. But let's go down this street. This is Magnolia and Meridian. Now, Meridian Street, it's kind of incredible how much they use on this street, all the houses, and you're gonna find out some surprising bits about some of the locations, where they were and where they are, and how they all came into play. Any more stumps or trivias? As Zach slowly dies. Okay. So, like I was saying, if we hit our goal, there is an opportunity for us to go to a location that's kind of up the street, but that'll very much depend on whether or not we hit our goal. So currently the woman behind us, she's watering her lawn, so I can't really walk over there because we'll both get wet, and I don't want to get wet. You cannot tip for that. You cannot tip to stump meat to get wet. That's not a thing. So if you, Lucas, want to, I think this will be fun. If you want to cross the street ahead of me and walk down that sidewalk, I will, I'll queue up our next vid.
Let me just not get hit by a car.
Yeah, that's a good way to start. I think that's probably the best place to start, is to not get hit. Because, you know, sometimes that happens, and let's not make that a thing today. Because as much as I love IRL streaming, I love Lucas more. Those are just the straight facts, y'all. Aw. This is the most cars I've seen on this street since I've been here. Lucas and I came here yesterday and there were literally no cars here. What was the day before? Live content, y'all. That car's too nice to be in Haddonfield. Too nice. So it will be, it's Lori walking to the Myers house, clip number 1. Y'all, there's a lot of cars. I'm not kidding. This is the most cars I've seen in this location. You can ask anyone who's been here with me. There goes Lucas. Bye, Lucas. I'll miss you. Lots of hugs. Don't get caught by Michael Myers. Save getting wet for the hyperdrive. That's not a bad idea. So I'm gonna do one of these maneuvers. So, in the clip from the movie, you see this, you see Lori walks out. I think she actually walks over here to where this tree is. Look at Lucas on the 1s and 2s. And then she crosses the street, because remember, she's been tasked with taking the key to the Myers house because her dad's a realtor and he's gonna sell it. She crosses the street like this. Keep in mind, the first location, that's nowhere near where we're at right now. Her house is not on that street. Her house is like, I would say, a mile, half a mile down the street. So they did a really good job of really selling people on like, this is location 1, or that's location 1, this is location 2, but they cut it so seamlessly. You would never know. So she's walking. There's quite a few things that happen in this location right here. So when she gets to about here, which is the corner of Magnolia and Meridian, down this street.
You said keep in mind, and they lost somebody until like as you were behind that tree.
Y'all lost me after keep in mind. Let's take that back.
Yeah.
Keep in mind. So the point where Lori turns the corner, she crosses the street. Her house location is like way down the street over there. But when she gets to this corner right here, she sees Tommy Doyle, the young kid who she ends up babysitting. And they end up walking across the street, and we'll get to that part when we get to that part. The second bit that I want to tell you about, and hopefully you don't lose service, I won't go all the way back to where I was just so we don't lose service, but there are 2 scenes that play out here. I'm gonna tell Zach to roll that next clip. It should be in order. Yes, sir. So, this clip that you're seeing right now, it is literally this exact same street corner.
Is that him? I don't know.
And this is from Halloween 2. I should remind you guys, this is from Halloween 2. Same location. You have Loomis and Sheriff Brackett in the car. They pull up to the corner. Loomis hears some kids yelling. He looks down this street where this white fence is, and he sees who he thinks is Michael Myers. So he gets out of the cop car, he starts running towards him, and while that's happening, we're slowly transitioning, sort of like where we were before, down on that corner. And this whole time, you know, this is after Halloween 1, so Loomis doesn't know where Michael is. They need to hunt him down, they need to catch him. All this crazy stuff is happening. And then by the time we get to the corner, I'm a little surprised like how much destruction they've done on this street before this movie, which are supposed to be like very small indie movies, but they did some damage. So same thing, the kid walks down the street, he gets past the fence. When he's crossing the street right about here-ish, I want to go in the middle of the street, but I also don't want to get hit by a car. When he gets about here, he walks over to this area and he tries to like beeline it to get out of the way. And a cop car comes from up the street and pins him against a van. So literally there's this huge explosion right here on this corner where Ben Tramer, who is the guy that Lori has a crush on, he gets killed because he's wearing a Michael Myers mask, not knowing that this same guy has been running around killing people all night, which I thought was like a pretty fun moment, and it just sort of expanded that world a little bit too, which I thought was really fun. Let me see. I'm just double checking to see if we have any trivias or any stumps, because I love it when y'all try to stump me. So far, I got half a question wrong. I think that's pretty good. I don't know about you guys. I think that's pretty good. When this car passes, we will cross the street to the next locale. Actually, you know what? Let's do this, Lucas. Let's cross it this way. We're just zigzagging, y'all. This is the thing about this location, though, especially this street in particular. It's a bunch of zigzagging. And they did an incredible job utilizing all these locations really, 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 really well. I would
Just
have.
by shooting around the corner on the same block,
Yeah.
it looks like a different street.
Exactly. It's like really figuring out how to like repurpose every single spot to do very different things with it. And you see the characters driving a lot throughout Haddonfield when they're really just going like down a street, parking a car and getting out, and they're basically like where they need to be. I also would love to know how many people who like live on the street, unless they've lived here since 1978, are aware of the movies that were shot here, which I would imagine most people kind of would if they're from this area or have lived in this area. So the location that we're gonna come on next, it's gonna be something like different about it, and it's not gonna make sense until we actually get to the location. So Meridian and Magnolia, that's where Laurie meets Tommy. That's where Ben Tramer is killed. Also Radhika, Modern Indian, we're gonna be stopping by that location because that also plays into a place that we're gonna stop by. Let me see here, 712. So the next house that we're gonna go to, that we're about to pass right now, it was also featured in Halloween 2, not 1. It's in the background in Halloween 1, but it's mostly featured in Halloween 2. And it's this house right here. Part of me is like, do I say the address, even though you can Google all this stuff? But this is the Elrod house. So at the beginning of Halloween 2, in the back of this house, where I was just showing you guys the alleyway, that's where Michael sees Loomis after he's been shot off the balcony and all that sort of stuff. But this house was actually used for the part where Michael goes in, and while the lovely older couple is having their dinner, they're watching The Thing, which is a fun. It's not really trivia. It's in the movie, but they're watching The Thing. She makes them a sandwich, and while that's happening, the broadcast is interrupted, and the news reporter says like, "We found 3 dead people. This escaped mental patient from Smiths Grove Sanitarium has murdered these people. He's on the loose." She goes back to try to continue making the sandwich. She picks up the knife, or no, she goes to reach for the knife. It's not there, and she realizes there's blood on the cutting board, realizing that Michael Myers has just been in her house. So, and then it cuts to a different location. Again, going back to what we talked about of how they utilize the locations really well, jumping from one place to another. Some of that stuff was actually shot up in Sierra Madre, which is about 10-15 minutes east of here. We were hoping to try to go there to show you guys a few more things, but we just ran out of time. But that's all good. Let's go down just a little bit further. So you see these townhouses. They kind of look like they don't fit, right? They don't look like they should necessarily be here. That's because in 1978, they were not here, in fact. So I'm trying to so right about here, across the street, was once the Myers house. Yeah, it's clearly not here anymore. So the opening shot of the movie, or one of the opening shots after the credits, is this incredible, speaking of a trivia question we had earlier about the glide cam, the very first shot of the movie after the credits roll, it's a glide cam shot that starts literally in front of this tree. This is the tree, good old tree. And it starts here and it moves like this around. And then where the house was, it ends up going across the street. I guess it's safe to cross. Son, wait. So it starts there from behind the tree. It comes across the street, which again, I guess in 1978, it was a lot easier. And the house was pretty much right here. I would almost consider these to be like the walkway up to the house. So this was the Myers house. No longer. These condos ended up being built, I believe, in the early 2000s. And I will tell you a little bit about the Myers house, but I want to actually save it for when we get to the Myers house. But this is where it once was. It was surrounded by a bunch of houses. Look at this dog. This dog is chilling. Hello dog. 2 doggies. So Myers house is no longer here, which I know for a lot of people who were fans of Halloween, it's kind of a bummer, the fact that it got moved. I think the exciting thing for people when they came to Pasadena was the fact that they could come here, see the house. The kid's barking, y'all. He's really barking. He's going for it. But again, it goes to show you just like how good they were at utilizing their locations. So let's walk down the streets. There's also a scene when Lori finally ends up, this big old truck. You all right there? So when Lori goes up to the house, she puts the key under the mat, and then Michael Myers is revealed. And then when she comes down the walkway, she's talking to Tommy, and Tommy tells her, well, Lonnie said that that's an awful house, that something terrible happened there. And she says, well, Lonnie's not gonna make it out of the 6th grade anyway, or the 3rd grade or whatever it was. So then she starts walking down the street, and she starts singing to herself something that was, I think, ad-libbed. I wish we were all alone, just the 2 of us. And behind her, she doesn't know it, but behind her, Michael Myers like steps out of the house and is just like standing there staring at her, and all you hear is he's just breathing at her. Because, you know, I guess that's a weird thing that we do, is we breathe at people when we see them, which is very awkward and just not a thing. So we technically parked on this street right here, and that would be the other side of the alley. So the alley that I showed you in the beginning, this would be the back side of it. So Michael literally was on the opposite side of this row of houses. Nothing else really takes place or happens here. It's mostly just that one alley is used because it looks a little sort of like old and worn. A lot of the houses that are here and have been here, they're some of the first houses that were ever built in Pasadena, which is part of the reason why they were all torn down. But let's make our way a little further down. Whoa. Lucas is doing a great job, by the way. Everyone should give Lucas props because I told him if he could hide something purposely on camera, and he's doing an excellent job doing it. Let me just check in. Wait, was Mike Myers really Billy from Kolak and had just done push-ups?
Yeah.
Lucas confirmed yes. He can. So that's that. I love when Adam calls his son. I wonder how Lucas feels about that. I wonder if he's ever like, shut up. Shut your mouth, Dad. Do we have any trivia or stumps? Zach ended the call 20 minutes ago. The Ivory Suite. So I don't know what I know what it is, but I never knew that these locations were here. It's a nice parking garage, which, you know, that's kind of cool, I guess, if you're into parking garages. Oh my God. I'm seeing something right now. Don't pan the camera over there, but I'm realizing what's happening. I guess we picked a good day to do this, because there's oh, perfect. I hope he stays. So this is actually kind of cool. I have honestly never been to Pasadena when it's been this busy. And it's kind of exciting. I think it's kind of rad, actually. There's an heirloom bakery that's closed, damn it. I was gonna try to buy Lucas some dinner. I guess that's not happening. Woo! Ha, that's perfect. So this location that we're coming up to, it wasn't until my second time I was in Pasadena that my big dummy self realized what was happening. We're gonna turn this corner right here. So this location that's behind me on my left is called Erotica. It's an Indian restaurant, but in 1978, it was the hardware store where Michael Myers broke in, stole a mask, a rope, and a couple of knives. I did not know that that's what this location was until I'd done some more research online. Because mostly the first time when I came here mostly just to check out the Myers house. And little did I know that this street that we were just on was used so incredibly well and so efficiently for so many different locations. Now, if we remember kind of how the scene plays out, which you should be seeing, hardware store, down the street, Lori and Annie come up in the car, and Michael is behind them. Now, when Michael sees and the girls see Sheriff Brackett in front of the hardware store, Michael pulls off to the side, and the girls drive up and they stop right about here, I think in front of this crosswalk. So they stop here, And Annie asks her dad, like, what happened? What happened? She's like, a couple kids. And she's like, yeah, you blame everything on kids. And then he tells her, you know, they stole a mask, a rope, and a couple of knives. And once the girls drive off, Loomis walks up. His car is parked right here on this street. He gets out of the car, he comes around, he meets Brackett, he's like, Shot Brackett, I need to speak to you, And he's like, okay, I'm gonna need 10 minutes. And the beautiful moment in this movie that I absolutely love, it's probably one of the best shots in the whole movie. When Brackett tells him 10 minutes, Loomis says, sure, I'll be here. As that's happening, from down the street, and this might happen right now because we're about to hit a red light, and this would be perfect timing if it did, except for this guy over here who's blocking traffic. As that's happening, Michael pulls up to the light, just like this Mercedes is about to do. They're going straight. They're all going straight. They're not going left. No one came left. Well, in the case of the movie, Michael actually comes up to the light, he makes a left-hand turn, and while he's making the left-hand turn, Loomis is looking to his left, and as the car passes him, he slowly looks in the opposite direction. A really, really good one take that I really like, and I think it turned out really, really well. And again, based on how many cars are here now, obviously in 1978 there were probably a lot less people here. But I think it's really impressive that they were able to do what they did with probably having like little to no control over the traffic that was happening here in South Pasadena. I also didn't know that the Metro came through here either. I had to rewatch the movie a few times, and there's actually a sign on the street that we were just on that says rail crossing, which I had no idea about. So we're going to now go to another location on the same street. No surprise, I guess. So also down that street, there's also 2 locations that are used in Halloween, but not the Halloween that we're talking about. If we have some time at the end, we might go check those out as well. Should we cross this way? Do you think you'll be good of avoiding what's over there? Oh, maybe I should hit this button. Guys, you guys are just traveling with us at this point. I'm having fun. I'm sure Lucas is hating having to carry this backpack around, but
I love it.
I love it, he says. This is really fun. I've never done a walking tour of this. There's some cool stuff down on Mission Street, a couple of restaurants. There's also a fun video store that Emily and I found called Video Tech. We went in there, they had some really great things, movies from around the world, some VHS and some Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff, which I thought was really, really cool. There's also some restaurants. I kind of just want to spend like half a day down here to see what other fun stuff we can find. All right, hopefully our light will turn green. I hit the button. Michael Myers, this Michael Myers fella sounds like a bad seed. Someone should stop him. Well, you're not wrong. Maybe we should just walk up the street and we'll do that LA thing where we jaywalk. Maybe that'll be okay.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. Yeah, also, never once in the movie did I ever notice like a Metro. So they did a pretty good job with that as well. Look, if I run into someone, you know, it is what it is. I feel like we're doing good though, we're doing good. I feel like we're doing an excellent job of just kind of rolling with the punches.
I got about 50 feet away.
Is it Michael Myers?
Yeah.
No. Spoopy. All right, I think we can safely cross-ish here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this car is doing other than being a good person and keeping the area clear like they should. Ooh, I got some trivia. What is the silliest piece of trivia you can tell us about Halloween? Okay, that's a good one. Silliest piece of trivia. Well, it's related to Halloween 2. So after the success of the first movie, John Carpenter was contractually obligated to make a sequel. He didn't really want to because he didn't really know what the heck he would do with the story. He didn't know where else it would go or what he would tell. So he tells the story with deep regret, I can tell. When it came to the relationship of Laurie and Michael, and if you haven't seen the movies, first of all, spoilers. he wrote that they were both related, that they were brother and sister. He talks about how he did that over a 6-pack of beer and with a lot of regret, which I understand. You know, when you're contractually obligated to figure out a way to make a sequel that's not just a repeat of the first movie and also do something new and different, it would make sense that you would try to find something, anything that you could pull out of a hat that you would at least try to justify. But that's how that came to be. It was never intended. They were never meant to be brother and sister. It was always just meant to be a random killing, a random person stalking someone, which a lot of people, God love them, they always get upset when that kind of stuff is retconned, but it was never really meant to be a part of it anyway. But, you know, it never hurt the franchise, for me at least. I think it's still fine the way it is. You know, let's see. Ooh, Taking Care says 175 to go. Get those trivia and stumps tips and help fund this IRL content. Ooh. Can we talk about IRL content for a second? How much Lucas and I have a huge passion for it. I started telling him about other filming locations that we could go to, and I think that'd be really, really fun. So if you guys like this type of stuff and you're interested in us doing more of it, definitely let us know. Okay. If we don't have any more stumps or trivia, I think we can move to our next location. Oh yeah, you have to back into it because you don't want to, no spoilers here, folks. All right. So this place is really cool. I've been wanting to come here for 2 years and I've never had a chance to. It's called Sugarman Gallery. They put on stuff mostly like all year. And this year in particular, well, every year during Halloween, it's really cool decorations, and they do movie screenings, which I think is really, really rad. Tomorrow, on Saturday, they're doing a screening of 2018's Halloween, and then on Halloween, they're doing 2 screenings of John Carpenter's original movie. So, yeah, let's go in. And they are expecting us. At least I hope they're still expecting us. That's right. So I should tell people that now. At one point, we're probably gonna have to switch microphones. So if you hear the sound cut out and it sounds weird for a second, bear with us. We will switch this. What in the world? We will switch it as fast as we can. Hello.
Hi.
We are here to do an interview.
Yes. Hi.
Is that you?
Sarah Rose. Yeah.
Sarah, nice to meet you. Adam.
Sarah Rose.
Sarah Rose. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna switch our microphone right now. And if you're cool, we would love to do like a little tour, talk about, you know, how you came across this location, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll switch mics real quick.
Yeah, so come over here so they
Sure.
can go
Yeah,
in that.
sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, whoa. There's a lot of cool stuff in here.
All right.
How did that come to be? Oh, 1 second. What's that? No idea.
Let me open the door for
Sure.
them so that they're all good to go.
Maybe now.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Might be good now.
Good. There's audio now.
Cool.
So, we're at Sugarman Gallery. This is on the same street, obviously. We haven't changed locations. This is the same street as where all these other amazing locations from Halloween are. We're going to do a tour with the owner, Sarah Rose. She's going to talk to us a little about how she came into possession of this house, what inspired her to start the art gallery. If you look around, I mean, it's completely decked out in a Michael Myers mask, a whole bunch of memorabilia from all the movies, some great behind-the-scenes photos. Woo! This in particular is great. The shot out eyes from Halloween 2, some stuff from Halloween 3, some other stuff from the new movie. Really, really cool stuff. Now I'm not gonna leave, that's a problem. Okay.
Okay.
So tell us, Sugarman Gallery. How did this even come to be? How did this amazing location come into your possession, and what inspired all of this, other than your fandom for Halloween?
Well, we opened in June of 2015, you know, we just opened it as an art gallery. And I'm just a big Halloween freak, as in Halloween the movie, but the holiday. Like, I'm known for it. My friends have always been obsessed with Halloween. And Halloween the movie is like a home movie for me. So it was like, you know, I'd be decorating my apartment and I have it on in the background. Like, it's a big deal for me. This house is a big deal for me. I've driven by it my whole life. I just love it, right? So I talk about Halloween a lot. Like, so we opened in June. The next month, some artist came in, was talking to me, and I said, well, he goes, what do you want to do with this gallery? Like, what's your plans? I go, I don't know, but in October, I want to do something with Halloween. I go, that's Michael Myers house. Oh my God. So people, I'm used to that. Like, they all freak out. And so you're like, yeah. And he goes, I know the producer. So he got me a meeting in like beginning of August with Malik Akkad. Malik introduced me to Kim Gottlieb Walker. Kim Gottlieb Walker is the behind the scenes photos for Halloween 1 and 2. So since then, so our first like Halloween exhibit was October of 2015. So that is what we show every year. Is Kim's photos are what like the highlight that we always exhibit. And then I just switch it up. So this is Welcome to Haddonfield 5. 5th exhibit. So that's what, you know, and this year it was really about the feels. I wanted to give the Halloween feel, that vibe. So it's a lot of black and orange, and then it's all the Halloween movies. So artwork from all the films. So I just gave people, like, I got a bunch of artists and was like, work on these films. I did say don't do Resurrection. And then no Rob Zombie this time.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, like the first one was all filmed here, so I like that, but it just didn't feel like dealing with the Rob Zombie aspect right now.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So, just no Rob Zombie and no Resurrection.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised with how much of Rob Zombie's movie, the first one at least, was shot here in South Pasadena.
Big time.
I didn't know that, and when I first came to the house, we actually haven't shown the audience the house yet. We're saving it for last, which I'm excited about. But it wasn't until after I found out where all these locations were and I did more research that I realized, oh, Rob Zombie actually shot a lot of stuff here too, which I had no clue.
And they didn't do that in the 2018 movie, but he did, so...
I'm a little sad about that. I love the movie, but I'm a little sad that they didn't come back here. I thought that would have been a really cool touch. But, you know, it is what it is. But so, a lot of this stuff that you have, this amazing, all these masks and artwork, is this stuff that you get donated from artists, or is it stuff that you find and you purchase for the gallery?
I curate it. So I contact these artists and say, do you want to contribute to this exhibit, to this show? And they can, I give them guidelines and they make something, and then it'll go back to the artist. If it doesn't sell, I just give it back. And then I switch. And so like our next exhibit is a Harry Potter exhibit. So my theme is where every day is Halloween. And so we do always have a section. So if you can't come to this all year round, I have a section with like Halloween movie stuff, just as my always spot. But like Harry Potter, witches, wizards, I get that vibe. So it's like decor and all that, that feels like Halloween. Or like, you know, just, I want that feel all the time. I do it anyways.
Yeah.
So I might as well just work off of
That's
it,
right.
you know?
And you guys also have a lot of events outside of just the gallery itself, which is already amazing. You guys also do screenings here, right?
Yeah.
You're doing, what were some of the screenings you guys have done most recently? And I know you guys have some good stuff coming up in the next few days.
Yeah.
Tell people about it.
So let's see. We, like in September, I screened Halloween, the first one. And then I kind of did like Trick or Treat and, God, what else was it? I don't even remember.
I think you guys did Evil Dead recently too, didn't you?
Yeah, that I just had other things to do, so I canceled
Gotcha.
it. I didn't really care. Honestly, I have no, like, I don't like that movie, so I was like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
But we're doing The Craft next week, next Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
So I'm like, that's something, I'm like, yeah, I'm screening that. And so I'm a little like, there's some selfishness. If it's a movie I'm not really fond of, I'm like,
I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's just gallery.
so, but I try to, like, you know, step outside the box and let
Sure.
other people enjoy themselves. But no, so we do like, oh God, I can't even remember. But all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Halloween 2018 tomorrow, which I'm already watching.
Spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Whatever. But, yeah, it's been out for a year.
I know,
Come
right?
on.
At this point.
But it's like, oh, spoilers on what happens at the end of Halloween.
Yeah.
It came out in
Everyone dies.
78.
I know. For 40 years, you got time.
Like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
But and then The Craft on Tuesday at 7:30, and then on Halloween, I'll do this every year, is screen Halloween twice. So, or you know, this year I'm doing it twice. 6:30 screening and an 8:30 screening. So it's your last chance to watch Halloween and stare up at the Michael Myers house, which you can only do here. Thank you.
If you guys could not make me work on Halloween, that'd be great, so I can come here and watch it. But it's really
pretty
cool.
neat.
Can we? Would it be okay with us to take a tour?
Yes. Do you want me to give you the
Yes,
tour?
please.
Okay. All right. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. I might have to go back. I don't know if you can.
Oh, what? All right, I'm already into this. Can I just move in? This is cool.
So I do play. I don't want to listen to the soundtrack all day. So I like to just get that spooky vibe. So this is like a vintage Halloween playlist. So just bear with it. Anyways, so yeah, welcome to Haddonfield 5. And so you'll see a bunch of different artwork everywhere. This is the end of the exhibit. So some of the pieces have already been picked up. But so like you'll see these behind the scenes. Let's start right here though. So this is awesome because these are the 3 real location shots. There's another one, there's another 2 over there too, but Mission and Meridian, right here. Donald Pleasance, Deborah Hill, right across the street. So that's really like that's a Radhika's, the restaurant, the Indian restaurant right there. So you can
we just
literally
came from
see
there.
this on the porch, and that's one thing that I love. And then the Michael Myers house photo, which this was when it was across the street, so it's nice because I tell people who like don't know what Halloween is, like they didn't know and they've grown up here and like all that, and I'm like, well, see that sidewalk? The sidewalk is across the street, and they're like, oh, and it's like exactly. So even though it's been redone, it's still the same thing.
That's right.
And then right here is the Strode house. So this is by the library.
Yep.
The library is right there.
That's where we started.
Yeah, so, and then she has her pumpkin out all year round for the fans. It's really nice, and so you can sit there. So that's really cool. And then I have another shot of it too, which is adorable.
Oh, yeah.
So this one is like pretty much what people are replicating, honestly.
Yeah.
So those are my, like, and then there's one more of South Pass I have to show you. So this is my favorite photo. This is new, it's never been printed. And there's the gallery right there.
Yep.
So that is really, really exciting because when Kim dropped off all these photos this year, I go, Kim, that's my gallery, that's the gallery. She was like, oh yeah. I was like, Kim, it's a big deal. They cropped me out, man. Like, so yeah, that's just like a little cool thing to.
Yeah, I remember I was telling people throughout this whole thing, just how like economical they were with where they shot and how well they utilized literally one street for so many different things. It's super impressive.
Yeah, like Oxley.
Yeah.
They just drove straight down Oxley.
Yeah.
Like the
Montrose.
hedges turned
Yeah.
down there.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Yeah, no, there's so much cool stuff in here. What are some other? I saw you have the jumpsuits over there.
Yeah, like we have like, you know, you can buy costumes and stuff here as well and everything. And then, so yeah, this is just like a bunch of different artwork. And if you see this wall, this was my big, like, I was really excited. My black and orange striped wall. So I was like, it's just so much fun. And a fun little, like,
yeah. We'll be here for the next 20 minutes taking photos. Don't mind us. Yeah.
I love it though.
That's great.
Yeah, and then the lights, and it just feels very orange and black and Halloween and spooky and cute.
Yeah.
And then we have like the script on loan from someone.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, so we have like, you know, I split it up, so it's kind of fun. This is from Rob Zombie, that who does Monster Tees t-shirts. He got it's a prop from the movie, but it was actually used and signed by Rob Zombie.
That's really cool.
And then that's a William Shatner life cast. So
From the original cast.
yeah, so Justin Mabry lent me that as well. So that's kind of fun. And then, there's this from, hold on, let me turn them on.
Uh-oh. All right, now I'm excited. Haddonfield Place. This is really cool. All right, this is cool. We're gonna be coming here every year. I hope you're aware of that now. Penta.
So this would have been the original kitchen in the house.
Oh.
In general.
What?
And this is a really fun little... What?
This is amazing. I am not leaving.
Is that not the greatest?
It's so cool.
I love it. Then we had like the photo behind it.
Yeah.
They made him crooked, you know.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah. And so this is my like the Halloween room all year round. So a lot of the photos and stuff, not everything, but there will be certain photos that will be brought in here. And that's where I give them a solid spot. So whether it's our exhibit is happening, I'm gonna go check on people, but whether our exhibit is happening on the outside of this room, it's still Halloween in here.
That's awesome. Guys, this is so sick. I can't believe I've never been here before, and I lived in Los Angeles for 7 years, and this gallery has now been here for 4. I'm all about this. This is like, I want this in my apartment, and I don't think this will be allowed, but I think it's kind of amazing to just sit here and just get murdered over and over.
No, it's just up. Some people are looking here, and these are the last. Yeah.
I kind of want to buy it for Zach as a present. Oh, that's so good. Let's look around some of these other places too.
It would look really cute. I like mine. Mine's big. Yeah.
So I'm all about Scarf Myers over here. I think that's pretty damn funny. And I love just like all of the memorabilia and stuff that's over here. A lot of really fun stuff. Yeah, dude, this is so cool. So if you want to come here, you can literally come to Meridian Avenue, come to the art gallery, and then when we wrap this bad boy out, you'll get to see something really, really fun.
Sugarmint Gallery.
Sugarmint, what did I say?
You just said the art gallery. I just want to put
Sugarmint Gallery. Also follow on Instagram and Twitter and stuff.
Sugarmint Gallery.
I know. That's right, with a Y. Can we check out the backyard too?
Please do.
Alright, let's go back there. Let's go check it out, see what's down there. Also, probably the only pumpkin I carve every single year is that design. Because I'm really bad at carving pumpkins, so.
Cool.
This is rad. Alright, so obviously we know that famous scene for when Lori is looking out her window from her house and she looks down and she sees someone by her drawers doing some weirdness, just like stalking her. Look at this guy. It's this dude right here. One thing that's really cool about this art gallery is she has a Michael Myers up in the tree as well, which is kind of wild. So if you're lost and you don't know if you're at the right place, just look up in the tree and you should find exactly the place that you should be at. So that's really, really cool. We're also coming to a perfect time because the sun is going down, and the last location that we go to will look really, really dope. Zach, do we have any trivia or any other asks from the audience?
Wanna go around back here?
Zach sounds mad. He sounds very angry. I don't think he liked the stabby Michael Myers. I'm gonna buy it as a present for him and put it in his closet and not tell him. This is also really cool. This like ginormous painting of Michael Myers with the pumpkin, Sugarman Gallery. I didn't realize how big this backyard is too. This will be me someday right here. This is just a look into my future.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. R.I.P. with the mask, you know what I mean? This backyard is way bigger than I thought. So this is where they have the screenings. I'm so bummed. I really want to be here on Thursday to watch. I think this would be really, really fun. So they do screenings here, like Sarah Rose was saying. They do them pretty often, I would say. I would definitely check them out on Instagram. They have stuff listed all the time on their website as well. But it looks like they can actually see quite a few people here. And I'm all about the outdoor screenings. Like I know that like we love to go do fun stuff like that as well. So having a place where you can actually come and maybe a little bit of a spoiler. If you look over there, you might see something peeking through the trees. You might know what that is. We're gonna go there next. So yeah, this is the cool art gallery that I walked by for 3 years and I've never bothered to come into, and now I'll never probably leave. So Sugarman Gallery, pretty awesome. What'd you think, Lucas?
Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah.
Let's come to a screening.
You know, it's actually not a bad idea. I'm sure if we picked something fun, she'd be like, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Yeah, man, we gotta do more stuff like this because I think this would just be a whole lot of fun to do. Also, this pumpkin is...
That's a big old boy.
This is bigger than me, and that's saying a lot. All right, so we're gonna walk out. We're gonna walk down the street. We're gonna check out our last location. So, if you have... What? Zach's saying I could hide you in that pumpkin, Lucas. I think he's pretty on point there.
Oh, not without a doubt.
Without one single doubt. So if you guys have any other trivia or stumps that you want to try, to stump me, now would be the perfect time. So we're gonna make our way out. We're gonna go to our final location. We'll talk a little bit about the location, maybe a little bit of an info dump based on where we're at, and then we'll see where we're time-wise. So let's go. Who doesn't appreciate like fun, great, spooky Halloween little decor? And I think, if I'm not wrong, I think this mask is from Halloween Resurrection. Don't hold me to that though. I think it's really cool when art galleries like this have all these cool props. I think that's really, really fun. And to anyone asking, there you go. Like she was saying, that William Shatner cast with the mask. We could replicate our own if we wanted to with that bad boy. This is also fun. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna spend money I shouldn't be spending, but it'll be worth it, I promise. And for anybody wondering, spoilers, this is gonna be my Halloween costume tomorrow. I'm going as Bob the Ghost. Lucas, I hope you're ready for my Halloween costume. We're simpatico, you know what I'm saying? Hermanos. All right, let's get out of here. So, like she was saying, these three, we've actually been to all three. This is the first location we were at, on the corner of Oxley. And then this is the second location, which was the hardware store. And this is where the Myers house was, across the street. We're gonna go to where it now exists. All right, we're gonna get out of your hair.
You want to see the special room?
Oh, what?
There's a special room?
It's an additional little hidey.
This tour is full of surprises. After you, sir.
What?
Oh, what? Lucas, you better get on that bed. This is cool. So it kind of works out perfectly because we didn't get to go to the cemetery where the headstone once was, but Sugarman Gallery has it on display here, so we don't have to worry about it. Of course, the famous pumpkin, all the corresponding artwork that deals with this setup and this bedroom, which is really, really cool.
You get to do this.
That's right. That's perfect. How many people come in here just to take this photo?
That's the point. That's the room.
See?
Yeah.
And then I got my little poster wall.
Yeah, all the
and
awesome
then
posters.
2018.
Ah,
With the little-
yep, that's right.
But still got the bob in there, you know?
So good. That's so cool. This is very exciting nerd shit for me. I love this. This is really, really cool. So yeah, Fish Tank, like she was saying, featured in Halloween 2018 with Bob the Ghost next to it. If you've seen that movie, you know the outcome of that. I love this Halloween poster so much. I've been on eBay looking for one of these for a while now. You can find a version that's actually from 1978 that is folded, because back then they were all folded. And the one that I'm looking for has this rating right here, R restricted, has it in blue. And apparently those are even more rare than those are the first edition prints that they made. So I'm on the lookout for that, but super cool. I love all this. This is awesome. Halloween Night Massacre. I have to remind myself that I'm an adult and I can't have a house like this. Or can I? This is really cool though. Alright, so I think it's time.
On to the final location.
The final locale. Ooh, awesome. Apparently I got a super chat from someone on the YouTubes. Thank you so much. They're saying that this is super fun. We want to continue doing more stuff like this. There are so many great filming locations, not just in Southern California, but in other parts of the country. I pitched to Lucas it'd be fun to go to the Shining House. That would be really cool. But if you ever come to Pasadena, you should definitely check out Sugarman Gallery. We got South Pasadena. We got an amazing tour of this incredible gallery. Come check it out. Check out what movies they're playing here. If they're playing Halloween, you should for sure come and check it out, because I think it's 100% worth your time. It's gonna be hard to get me out of here, so we better just go. Otherwise, I'm just gonna want to stay here forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For letting us take a tour. So amazing. Hopefully, if all works out, I'll be back here on Thursday to watch Halloween.
Ooh, you should come.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
So cool. It's probably really dark out.
Oh, we got it.
Zach's yelling at me because I'm trying to like slip in getting work off on Thursday, because you know we have that Warhammer show. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay. So the final location on this tour, I was holding off on this till the very, very end. We avoided it as best as we could because I thought it'd be fun to do it at the end. You kind of save the biggest moment for the end. I'm a little bummed though, because as Lucas and I were across the street showing you guys the hardware store, when we looked across the street, we actually saw Michael Myers standing here. He's not here now, sadly, but come on over. So remember that tree that I showed you over there that had the establishing shot, and the very, very, very first shot was the camera coming from the tree across to the house? Well, there's the house. And I can hear some music playing, so I think oh, there's some other people here filming. They got some Halloween music. So this is the actual house that was used in the movie. Yes, it is in a different location. It used to be up the street on the left where we showed you guys earlier, and now it sits here at 1000 Meridian Avenue, or Mission Street in South Pasadena, right off of Meridian Avenue, so basically the cross street of Mission and Meridian. And when the movie obviously starts, you see the glide cam shot where the camera goes up to the house like this, and then goes around, because Michael is, you know, 6-year-old Michael Myers is on the verge of murdering his sister. And it comes up to the side like this, and he looks into this window, which I don't know how well you can see, but work with me. He looks into this window, he sees his sister with her boyfriend, and he sees them run upstairs. When that happens, he actually walks back to the front of the house, right about here. He looks at the top window, and the light on the top window goes off, and you hear Carpenter's score, doo-doo-doo, and then he makes his way. It's gonna be real loud right now. He makes his way down, and he goes around the back of the house. Honestly, I was kind of scared to turn the corner because I didn't know if Michael Myers would be standing there waiting. So he goes in the back of the house. But when this house used to be at its original location, there was like a little bit of a porch. So he had to walk around, up the porch, into the door. And then the scene sort of plays out where he goes through the house, grabs the knife out of the drawer, he goes up the stairs into his sister's room and murders her, unfortunately. 6-year-old kid, not good. So the house is here. And let me double check something. Zach, do we have any stumps or trivia? Okay, I'm gonna do an info dump on you guys right now. Unless someone wants to jump into the chat room right now for any last minute trivia or stumps. Otherwise, I'm gonna do an info dump. And public transportation, it's great. So the reason that this house is here is because this house was originally built in like 1885, 86. It's one of the oldest, if not one of the first standing houses in South Pasadena. And when it was at its original location, it was actually on the verge of being demolished. And for about 9 years after the movie, all those houses were kind of abandoned. So the reason why they used the Myers house, or picked the house that they picked, was because it was not in use, there was nobody living there. So it already added to the fact that like the house was meant to already kind of be like a spooky house, so that kind of played into it. But all the houses kind of around it were already not being utilized, nobody was living in them. So for the beginning part of the movie, when they're shooting the opening scene where he goes up the stairs and he murders his sister, they actually had to kind of like move stuff around the house and make it look like it was like normal looking, that it wasn't all dilapidated. And then after the movie was done, they shot Halloween 2, and that's kind of the last time we see the house in the original franchise. After that, in 1987, there was a guy who was driving down the street, and he saw like that all the houses except for one were all torn down, and the bulldozer was literally about to take the house out. So he got out of the car, he ran up to the bulldozer and was like, wait, don't bulldoze this house. So he made an agreement with the guy that actually owned the land, and he gave him $1 silver to acquire the house. Mind you, he had no idea that the house was connected to John Carpenter's movie. He had no idea it was Michael Myers' house. But the house was in the property of the South Pasadena Preservation. So he thought, well, okay, if this house is from 1885, 1886, we should probably do a better job at preserving it and retaining something that's as old as it is. The house has only gone through 8 owners since its existence from 1885. 7 families, then it was the South Pasadena Preservation, and now, and I don't know if this person still owns this house, I don't know if it's been sold. But as far as I know, it's still in the same ownership that it's been under for the last 32 years. And they've done a really good job of keeping the house preserved. So from about 1987 starting in 1987, the house was moved here. And then the lot where those duplexes are, it was vacant until like 2002. So pretty cool that someone, not even knowing what the hell this house was, paid $1 silver for it, had it uprooted and moved here, and later found out that it was the house from Halloween, Michael Myers' house, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure how much of the inside we'll be able to see. We're technically not supposed to go on the porch, but don't do this. So if you can see, you can actually see the staircase where Michael comes in from what would have been the kitchen. He goes up the staircase and into Judith's room, which I believe is on this side of the house facing us. But because it was in such bad condition, they had to put a lot of work in to try to keep the house in some working order for the beginning of the movie. And then once we got past that, it was fine. We didn't really have to worry about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we did a pretty damn good job. We're a little early, but I kind of wanted the Myers house to be the very last spot, so I thought it was a really fun location, and it's a fun place to come take photos. I believe now it looks like it's an insurance agency. I think at one point there was a chiropractor and a dentist here. I imagine the rooms are not very big because of just how old this house is. So if you come here, definitely come take some photos. I would love to go eat at this Indian restaurant where the hardware store used to be. Definitely check out Sugarman Gallery. And if you guys want to hit up Pasadena and find out, I'd be happy if you hit me up on social media. I'd be happy to point you to the right direction, but you can really Google most of these locations anyway, and you'll be able to find where they are and stuff. They're all located very, very close together. And not too far from here is also the Myers house that's featured in Rob Zombie's Halloween. And the Strode house is actually about a 15-minute walk up the street. And you know, that's up there. And then there's some other locations throughout. But I would hope next time we get to do this, I would love to do maybe a little bit of a longer pre-recorded bit. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. We shot that on Wednesday. We had a lot of fun doing that because we figured if we're gonna do an IRL, doing it and driving would not be as exciting. There were also some fun places on the way. There's like Pee Wee Herman's house and stuff, but that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much to Lucas for wearing this backpack for 2 hours. Woo! Running around. Thanks to Zach for running the board, even though I'm sure he's got way more important things to do, and I'm sure he's gonna say something snarky to me over the phone. Yeah, so boss is reminding me. Hyperdrive tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. We've got some amazing RPGs. We're gonna be starting with Hocus Pocus, GM by Matt Acevedo. Then we're gonna be transitioning over to Ghostbusters, GM by G. Emily. Then we're doing a slasher RPG with Mika GMing, and there's gonna be a whole cast of characters there. And then we're gonna cap it off with Hellraiser, GM by Zach. And in between, we're gonna do some fun, spoopy stuff in between. Some things we've done before, but I'm very interested to see what other things we're gonna do. So that'll be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then we'll be back on Monday with your regularly scheduled programming, Kolak 1991 and all that good stuff. If you watched live on Twitch, thank you so much. Thank you for all you guys' support. Thank you for tipping to keep this IRL live streaming stuff, this dream alive, really. I mean, the only way we can really do this is with your guys' help. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for supporting Hyper. And we'll catch you guys.
Thank you for
mañana.
that tip.
Ooh, we got
Little Mouse That Jumps just tipped $10. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Little Mouse Jumps, thank you so much for that tip. But guys, we'll see you tomorrow live for the Hyperdrive. If you're watching on YouTube, we've got a lot of content coming to you guys. We've got some reviews, some podcasts, and a whole lot of fun stuff. But stay spoopy and have a happy Halloween.